lie. I wanted this love to survive. Now when I look in your
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show. Ready to rock and roll. As usual, I have the family with me here. The great bunch of friends that have been doing this with me for a long time. And first and foremost, the Thunder from Down Under. Good old Maurice. How you doing, friend?
Hello.
How's everything? How was your weekend so far, brother?
It was good. That was a terrible Australian accent. I apologize.
Hello. That sounds more like terrible. It sounds more like an English accent, yeah.
Yeah, all my accents sound the same.
Yeah. And we have the beauty from over in the West, Avinash.
In the West, huh? Yeah, I am.
We have the you wouldn't be the Wicked Witch of the West. You'd be the Joyful Witch of the West.
I don't know.
What the hell are you talking about, Leon? What kind of intro is that? Jesus Christ.
I think he's...
I mean, I don't mean to call you witch, but I mean, you're pretty ugly in that
I mean, I pretty much spend every
Although you're very joyful, you have a great personality.
I pretty much spend every introduction of this live show telling Avinash how wonderful she is. So I think that once in a while, it's okay.
Throw something in there, huh?
It's okay to throw something in there, but I wouldn't call it. I mean, listen. I was just trying to say from the West, okay. And the first thing that came to my mind was the Wicked Witch of the West.
She's not in a gang, man.
Okay. Well, that gentleman over there that you're listening to with the rather perturbed attitude and just all around swell guy, RangerJ1999, everybody from the Reality Skewed Gamers.
Hi everybody. I'm just wondering what gang your relations are you? Crips or Blood? They're Avinash. You're from the West Side, obviously. So I mean, Jesus. What a way to start the show.
Listen, I like to start things off the right way, and
that's not the right way.
I'm not sure if that was the right way.
I do have to say
it was our way.
Listen, we've done 122 of these.
Saying good old Maurice is Australian, then you call Avinash ugly like a witch. Good Lord.
Listen, sometimes you come out here and
don't stop. You're digging. You're getting the whole verse.
No, sometimes you come out here, you bat 500. You just everything you hit's going over the fence. And every now and then, you strike out 5 times. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. And sometimes you go 1 for 30 and you're a basketball player. Today, maybe I didn't start off the show as well as I may have started off other shows in the past. But you guys hopefully will forgive me for that because I'm doing my best. Okay. And nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and move on past the introductions.
Yeah, let's just move way past that shit. Oh, Lord.
Let's just keep moving in the opposite direction of this. So I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Happy New Year to everybody. We're on the other side of the new decade, the new 2020. So I mean now there was like Gen X, and then there were millennials. I mean, what are the kids that are born now?
I think they're called
Hopeless.
Hopeless.
I was going to say something worse.
What's the next?
That wouldn't be a good thing.
What's the next generation? But so I hope everybody had a happy holiday, and hope everybody had a happy New Year. We hope everybody got a chance to see Star Wars. I did put out a review for the movie the other day. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. But not now. Later. Okay, and another time. And then also I want to do a review of The Mandalorian, so we'll do that. And then I was hoping that maybe one of you guys here would join me for or at least one of you would join me for like a spoiler live show, where we could just kind of like one day during the week maybe just jump on and get people to tell us what they think about the movie and The Mandalorian, and we just talk about just a whole spoiler party.
Mm-hmm. We did that last Sunday.
Yeah.
That was not a spoiler party.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's no spoilers. Come on.
Yeah, there were some spoilers.
That was hysterical. Oh my God, that even brought my husband out from the other room going, what the heck is going on? And I go, Ramon is at it again. Oh my God.
No. Guys, come on. No spoilers. All right. So, what I wanted to start off the show talking about is characters from the Rise of Skywalker, right? So, obviously we know we're getting Rey and Kylo, and we have already gotten Hux, who I wouldn't really call a Rise of Skywalker character, and we've gotten the Sith Trooper, right? But what can we expect as far as like the rest of the characters from the movie that are going to actually come into this game? So, I mean, I'd have to assume that if we're getting some sort of a legendary event or something like that, they're probably going to add a few more characters for that to happen. So, I mean, obviously we can't plan for that in order to prepare for the event, but I just want to kind of get your guys' speculation on which characters you think we can expect from the Rise of Skywalker or the new trilogy as a whole. I mean, will we get Snoke before we get, General Pride? Do you think we're getting General Pride?
No. I don't think
No, I don't think so unless they're kind of desperate for filling in characters. I really don't think we're going to get a Snoke. For some reason, he was so inconsequential in the trilogy, and he just kind of appeared and left just as fast that I really don't think he's going to play any part in the game at all, honestly. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know all the characters, but I would think maybe old fart Lando, maybe.
No, I don't think we're going to get him either. I think the characters that we're going to get is, we already know Rey and Kylo. We are going to get a Poe, right?
Okay.
The other villain that I think we're going to get is a new version of Palpatine. I think they're going to take.
I was thinking that, but other than that, I don't know any other characters that are in the.
There could be some of the other characters that had short roles in here, but I don't think so.
Carrie Russell character, I think we're going to get
possibly
Zori Bliss. I think Zori Bliss is definitely her armor is cool, and just for that reason alone, they're gonna put her in the game.
Sure, but I think outside of that, I think you brought that up, Maurice, about when you look at the journey guide, right? It says like 15 characters, but then you brought the point from the I can't remember which podcast you said you heard it on, that a lot of those like legendary characters, they list all the characters and stuff like that could possibly be used, like Grandmaster Yoda. So we don't need to go cray yet on like what we're going to need for these new characters and stuff.
Yeah, it could be something like, I think it was the Chimera event where, you could use what you wanted, but you had to use X, Y, Z, and then the rest was up to you. It could be a case of that.
Right.
Maybe we could get, the new Poe and Finn might be required for X, Kylo or Rey, and then you could just use any other filler. Who knows? I wouldn't gear anything up in anticipation. I don't try to guess at this.
No, my focus right now is I'm not even thinking about that crap. I got to get Watt Gear 12 after this third round of TV, and get him relic and then Anakin. That's my only focus right now is those characters, and the rest of it will play out, and I'll see what it is. And if it is something, I don't think they're going to get a lot of characters from episode 9. Would I be shocked if they included them in the overall, like what you need? No, I wouldn't be shocked after all the craziness that they've done over the past couple of years, because they're going to try to create the market for the need for these characters, where you're going to have to need one or two of the new characters to go for it. But I'm not chasing it. I'm done chasing and I'm done spending. So
I agree. Yeah, it's just to a point where it's just major burnout in trying to figure out and chase the meta. And I and a lot of other people are like, not anymore.
Yeah, you reach a point where you're like, especially after the gas stuff, a lot of people I've talked to, and these are Krakens, like, I'm not spending any more money in this game. Like, I don't care what they put out. Like, this is getting to the point of just ridiculousness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because, you know, gas demonstrated that the way they handled gas, which was just a dumpster fire from the beginning. You know, first you had to expend an exorbitant amount to get the characters ready to go face gas, and then when you got them, you need to get one, and then they released it like 2 months later, and so all those people that had paid for it didn't really get a chance to really have that advantage. It's just, you know, CG, I don't know what their plan is, but it's not very strategic in their thinking. I think it's just milk, and I mean, that's why I've made the vow. I'm not spending any more money. You know, I had some fans ask me the other day, like, what if we tell you to spend and we give you money to spend? Well, yeah, I'll do that for the fans, but I personally am not spending any more of my hard-earned money for this game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there's no point. What's the point of chasing? Because that's what they do. They keep moving the goalposts further and further down, and keep having you. It's like an endless cycle of money.
Right.
You know, and it's just it reaches a point where it's just not worth it anymore.
It gets to a point where, you know, at the beginning it was kind of fun to chase a little bit at a time, you know, to do a little bit of chasing. But then it started getting closer together and more stuff. And it's like, okay, I can't do all of this. So where do I go from here? And there's always going to be people who are hyper competitive and want that right now ahead of everybody else, when in all honesty they just need to take a step back and just kind of evaluate what the hell is going on and what are they throwing at me, and is it really worth it? You know, can I wait one more time to get it? Sure, you can. You can wait even a time after that. Depends on what guild you're in. If you're in a Kraken guild, it's not going to be, you know,
I'm in a pretty heavily high GP guild. I know you are too, good, Maurice. Or I mean, and I know Riemann, you're up there in the guild, and you are too, Avinash. But you, everybody's like, nah, you know,
yeah,
no more spending. You know, like, we'll just farm and do what we need to do. But now the money that they are aiming toward, and Finn brought this up this week in the stream, is that they're aiming for new players. You know, they're aiming for that new blood coming in. That's why they set the journey guide and things of that nature. And, you know, so that's why they've changed their focus from a lot of us veteran players to more of a newer player, journey guide, spend crystals, get the crystal pack, get the kyber pack kind of mentality to keep their profits up, because they know they've pretty much
screwed the pooch.
Yeah, on the Krakens, because there's still people that will spend, and there's plenty of people that will spend because it's just what they do. But a lot of them have really looked at the habits of what CG has been doing and been like, no, I'm done.
The problem is, though, that these people that tell you that they're not going to spend anymore, CG has like hard data that they say that, and then they still spend. So even though they say they won't spend, they secretly still spend. So it's like they just don't want to tell you that they're spending. They want to make it sound like they're going against the grain, but they're still spending. So even when we go, like even when the Game Changer program was still like in high velocity and we were giving them feedback every day, we would tell them constantly, like, listen, guys, you're going to burn bridges with the people that spend money in this game. And they'd be like, well, actually, our data shows that that's not correct. You know what I'm saying? So, and we can't challenge that because we don't have their data, right? So, they're not going to give it to us. So that's a proprietary thing. And all those companies that sell, loot boxes or, chance packs where you can, you have a chance to get something, and it's not guaranteed. Those games all have like hard data on like how long players play the game, like how long they're in the game every day, how many players they lose every day, how many players come back, how many players say, and then they have data from players that say that they go literally look at players online that say that they're not going to spend, and then they get data that shows the opposite. So I mean I don't know how they're compiling that data, but I imagine that they have some pretty serious analytics behind what they're saying. So I don't know. I'm assuming that if they're continuing to screw the pooch as far as what we think they're, at least that we think they're screwing the pooch, they must be doing something right in their eyes, right? So I don't know. It really would take people actually sticking to their convictions and not spending for the company to really see a reason to stop doing what they're doing. And I'm not even saying that I don't spend any more like that. I mean, I still spend and buy like the small the $20 crystal packs here and there. But I mean, besides that, I don't buy like vaults anymore. I don't buy characters anymore. I just really refresh crystals to buy, to catch up and stay up to date with most of my characters and farm what I like, and try not to fall too far behind. But what do you think, Maurice?
Well, and 08 Blaze 83 just donated $2 and said, "What's up, guys? What's everyone's feel of the game lately?" That's pretty much what we're talking about, Blaze. Just I think this is an old game. All right, it's a very, very old game. Like it's been around a long, long time, and they have. I think you guys are right in that they have kind of milked as much as there can be milked from a large portion of the community. There's still gonna be people that spend lots and lots of money. I think there's a lot of money coming from the middle range type of guys, like the players that maybe started maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. I think those guys are starting to maybe kind of take over in terms of the biggest demographic, if you will, in terms of spending. Because I see them, we see them all the time. I mean, these are the people that are coming into your guilds now when the older players retire, and you see them. They're eager, newer players, and you see them rather rapidly climbing up your guild ranks. You see them; they come in at the very bottom. They're the smallest roster in the guild. You look a month later, they're the 40th and the 35th and the 30th. Those are the guys that are spending, I think, a lot of money. Where they made a lot of money off these relic packs. A lot. That's why they keep spamming them out, because people keep buying them. But in actuality, when you buy these packs, you boost your GP so high that you're actually hurting your Grand Arena matchmaking. Like, I'm fine. I have very, very low relics for my GP. I'm out relics in almost every Grand Arena match. But I'm in favorable matchups with my mods, my characters, just simply because I played the game so long. Is people are buying stuff and it's actually hurting them in terms of TW, Grand Arena, because they're getting their characters so high up and they don't have the mods to back up these teams that have the relic 7s and 6s on them. I see it in my arena. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I'm rather shocked again. Who I'm up against sometimes.
I mean, there have been multiple Grand Arena matches I've been in where they'll have twice the amount of relics I have, but I have hundreds and hundreds. Like I have a pretty significant amount of 20 pluses, but I have like eight 20 pluses with almost 6 million GP. I mean, you can have all the relic 7 characters in the world, but they're never going to take a turn. So I mean, it's at the end of the day, when everyone has relic 7 characters, it's going to go right back to the mod game. Like it's coming very quickly. You see it in arena, like all the gas teams and stuff, like the guys that got gas. It's right back to who has the fastest Rex. It's always going to be determined. Mods are always going to determine stuff. How successful you are. I think that a lot of the focus, people need to switch their focus back to mods and get off all the new shiny stuff. Mods will get you there wherever you want to go all the time. Like if you're going to spend money, spend it on the mod refreshes. I think is the best spot to spend your crystals. But I don't know. I'm enjoying the game. I like it. I did buy Hux. I think Hux is great. But I don't really buy any of the packs and stuff anymore. I bought some of those $7.99 Galactic upgrade packs that came out and stuff, but in terms of just all the stuff they just spammed at us and stuff, I don't really get into that anymore. You don't need it.
Yeah.
Just work on what you like. The 4 of us have all played so long that it doesn't matter if we don't have it. You see it in your arena. We'll see it when we get to the meta report. There are people using Padme, there are people using gas, people using Darth Revan. People are taking what they have and making it work. So it's just kind of good. So I mean, what are you going to do with the 180th character? Like you have plenty, to make things happen for you. So
yeah.
But I kind of went all over the place there.
I'm in a horde mentality right now.
Me
I'm
too.
very focused on characters, but that's just their gear, and I'm only working on certain ones at a time, and I'm not, going at it from different directions. It's where we're at, because really what I farm every day now is ships. I'm farming some of the ships that I just haven't done for a while. until these new characters come to the, like the Hux and the Trooper and stuff like that. Then I'll farm them, but I'm not going to farm. I don't have really anything else to farm. I mean, other than ships, and then I get some gear, but since these are hard nodes, they drop gear too. So I think it depends on where you're at in the game too, like how it feels to you, right? If you're 2 years or less, it probably feels a lot newer and different, and then when someone that's like us at the start of the game at launch, that's been playing it for a long time, so perspective is always important.
Yeah, and the Alpha Mole Elijah, he's a really, really old player. He's in the chat. Played with he played remote a long time. And,
yeah, I miss him.
Yeah, he says he's up in the 20s now. He was 69 a couple months ago, and now he's in the 20s just because people are slowing down or leaving.
I remember I just sent him a screenshot that he was number 69. I had to point that out to him.
Yeah, it just somebody's in the chat. Thomas Williams says, I can't stand 3 vs 3. And a lot of people are like that, but what you cannot do is see the success certain characters are having in 3 vs. Don't chase characters ever for 3 vs 3.
We talked about that while we were doing 3v3 on Saturday.
Like if you
some 3v3 and I'm not a fan of it. I know some of you are, and I think you enjoy it, and I'm all for you enjoying it. But if you think about it, you use these characters that have this advantage for 3 or 4 times maybe a year.
Yeah,
the rest of the time is completely different because then you're thinking about 5s.
Mm-hmm.
So Bruno Maurice is absolutely right. Don't be just chasing for 3s, because we had some questions when we were doing it, like, should I focus this team should I farm these 3 characters for 3s? And we're like, no.
Well, I've seen it a couple times now where, like, I'll look through my opponent's roster. I do a lot of nosing around, right, before the match, and like they have these characters. I'm looking at their rosters. I'm like, oh man, he's got a 300 speed, gear 13, relic 4, such and such. But when they load up the map and I actually face them, they're like gear 7. So they took them all the way from gear 7 to like relic and invested all these speed models of just because they saw how good they were in 3 vs. As a character, like Newt or Dooku or something that you need, but you don't need this. 1 Grand Arena match is not worth spending any money on any character. It's just if you don't have it for 3 vs 3, just suck it up and take your rhodium, or just go for your trapped in carbonite badge or whatever, and just it's 3 times a year, maybe 4. So it's not worth it. Spend your money elsewhere if you're gonna spend money.
Yeah, still focus on this stuff, because if you think about it, raids, TW, TB, everything else is all about the team synergy with 5s. The thing about 3s is it does change the dynamics and stuff of the characters and how they interact, right? Grievous is pretty not great in 3s. He's just not.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the teams actually improve and some get way worse. Like Imperial Troopers, mine are really nice. They absolutely suck in 3s.
Yep.
They're just total garbage. But then some teams actually get way stronger and way better. CLS Han Chewie is ridiculous in 3s.
Oh, I love it.
Stupid. Although I followed TMoney's example, went for the old Greedo, Han, and Chewie combination this weekend. Covers could say that didn't go too well, but we were having some fun. But after 3s, I'll be back to 5s in TW and when they flip the script and we go back to 5s in Arena. And that's what those teams are really designed for, is that 5 synergy. You can find synergy. You can cool teams to use in 3s. I think we've all learned that Watt is ridiculous on any team and makes it a pain in the ass, especially if you have a high gear, high relic Watt. So, don't just do 3s to do 3s.
Yeah, I think it's fun when I don't look at what my opponent has and I just go in and do it.
Not me. I've got a real tough opponent this time. The matchmaking, I just went on a tangent how it's been working in my favor. I got a really good matchup, so I studied his SWGOH last 6 battles, saw some trends, and just kind of kept and adapted. This is the second time I think in the entire tournament this month somebody's had a faster Darth Revan and Vassal than me, so it makes it a little different. That's before, if they place them at who cares, like now if they place them, it's like, well, Darth Revan's not really going to do much good, so we might as well, got to think of creative ways to split the Sith up and place them and use them. And I don't know, I like scouting. I'm really nosy. I I'm really
Yeah,
really
usually
nosy.
I am, but it's like the past couple times it's been kind of fun to just go in without knowing and just seeing if I can do it. Out checking,
Yeah.
not even checking anybody on the team, what their mods are or speed or anything. I just figure out a team and just go in and do it and see if I can do it just for fun.
So I was thinking about this before. Have any of you guys gotten 10 million on the credit heist anytime recently? At all?
Not recently, but I have before.
Yeah, I have before twice. But the other time, but the one previous, after, I mean, that was a couple back. But then I got 3.5 or something like that. I was like, you son of a bitch.
I don't think I've had 10 million on a credit heist in like at least 2 years or like a year and a half or something. It's been years. I'm talking about like it's been a long time. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just me, but I just thought maybe they nerfed the credit heist a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure that they've tweaked the percentages in the background all the time on stuff. I know they do.
Not that I use. I mean, I have like 300 million credits. So I mean, whatever. But I remember I was just watching videos the other day of like some of my first videos. I just kind of was feeling nostalgic, and I went back and watched a couple of videos that I made a few years ago, and I was seeing like when Palpatine came out, right, and like like the day before Palpatine when they first announced Palpatine, I had like 615,000 credits. Like that's how much I had, and that was like there was such a grind for credits back then.
Oh yeah,
and it's just a different scenario now. But
I spend my credits way too. I have no problems, but I waste a lot of credits on mods and stuff. Waste credits. But it hasn't bit me in the butt in a while. But it will. Something's gonna. I am shocked that the whole relic mechanic doesn't take more credits than it does. Like I'm shocked it doesn't take like tons and tons of credits to craft and tons of credits to apply and all. And you do have to pay a little bit of credits to put the relics on, but I'm shocked you don't have to spend in the scavenger department. That was actually a pleasant surprise. So
well, I think they still have to factor in those people that are still leveling up all the original characters that aren't necessarily playing for 4 years and have all this stuff saved. So they have to kind of be light on that a little bit. But so just going back to the original topic, I mean, I kind of feel like they're going to release probably, I would say they're going to release for sure. Obviously we know Rey and Kylo, but I think they're going to also release possibly a new version of Palpatine. Do you think the Palpatine that we get is going to be the Palpatine like on the hook, like just hanging there, or do you think it's going to be like
No.
What kind of Palpatine you think we're just going to get? Do you think we're going to get the end version of Palpatine? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, and besides that, I would imagine that we're going to get, like you said, probably a new version of Poe. Yeah. We got a new version of Finn already. I would imagine that we'll probably see. I don't know. I mean, do you think that they would do a like a veteran smuggler like Lando?
No.
That'd be kind of cool.
It would be, but they're not going to do it.
I also hope that they do like. I hope that they do Zori Bliss, and I hope that they do some more Resistance characters. So I mean, I'm thinking maybe Snap Wexley.
Possibly, but I mean, if you think about it, like just for the dynamic of the teams and stuff, I mean, of what we have for First Order and Resistance, they're going to do enough to get the teams, I think, enough to do. I just don't see them moving past. I mean, I'm just thinking back to Solo and what they introduced in that game, and there was more characters that they could have introduced from the Solo movie. And when I look at Rise of Skywalker, and I think back to, The Last Jedi, we didn't get a lot of new stuff from The Last Jedi, right? There was a different version of Finn and Poe in that one, and they didn't introduce new versions of those. So, I mean, it's kind of all up in the air. We know Rey and Kylo, but that's it. Anything else is just total speculation and what we think they possibly could do. I mean, the only reason I say Poe is because he's a main character, and we got a new version of him. So, get a new version of Poe makes sense. But when you look at the dark side, we have Hux. We got the Sith Trooper, and we're gonna get Kylo. Maybe Palpatine, but past that, I don't see anything of the characters that are moving forward past that.
If we did get another version of Palpatine, would he have a First Order tag?
Oh no,
No?
no, he wasn't First Order. He was
Sith Eternal.
well. If anything, if you want to give a tag, it'd be the last. So
The Final Order. Final Order Palpatine.
That'll be it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so they could also, in the movie, they have Palpatine has these guards that are called the Sovereign. They're called the Sovereign Warriors.
yeah, we're not getting those. We're not even getting Knights of Ren, man. So I mean,
You don't think we'll get the Knights of Ren?
no, not at this point. No.
I mean, they're so inconsequential in the film.
I know, that's why we're not going to get them, and that really sucks.
Well, they've hinted that way. They pretty much said in one of the Q&As that they're going to go back and revisit episodes 7 and 8 as well. So maybe some of these characters
Possibly.
that we're missing, I don't know if that means with characters or if it means perhaps like the new raid will be based in one of those areas of the movies. I don't know, but they did say they're revisiting 7 and 8. So
I find it absolutely bananas nuts that we have Rose Tico in this game and that we're not going to have Supreme Leader Snoke.
Right.
I mean, like what? Why is there a Coruscant Underworld Police in this game, but we're not going to get Supreme Leader Snoke? I mean, I understand that. Yes, after The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, Snoke's importance in the saga itself has been diminished for sure. Okay, but what I'm saying is that I still think that. I mean, he wasn't just like your average everyday force wielder. I mean, this guy was like swinging Rey around like she was nothing. You know what I mean? And Rey's a Palpatine. You know what I mean? Oh, Jesus. Sorry, guys. I wasn't thinking.
The movie's been out long enough now.
I wasn't there. I'm just saying, I apologize for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. I wasn't thinking. I was just speaking from the heart. But what I'm saying is, Rey is strong in the Force, Kylo's strong in the Force, and Snoke is stronger than them, right? So it's like, how could they not put him in the game? I mean, I don't know.
But put him into, how would you do that? They never really show him other than sitting in his throne. So there's not a lot of.
If they have C-3PO and R2-D2 and BB-8 in the game, I'm
right,
sure
but they move around and you can do something. They could do something with Snoke. I mean, like, he does demonstrate that he can hold people up in the air and that he can do some stuff in the Force very powerfully. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a while before we see a Snoke. So
I'm kind of disappointed too that we've never seen like a Force push, or besides, like, I mean, maybe I guess Anakin does a Force push, I guess, but like, but like we never really see a character get like lifted up in the air. Like you never see like like somebody use the Force to like levitate somebody. Yeah,
it'd be cool if they did that, which I don't know why they couldn't, but it would be kind of cool. But it would take a lot of animation stuff to have, like, say, Vader do Force choking and do something like that, So
right, the characters on defense don't have an interaction based specifically on the move that the offensive player does, right? So like the character is always just standing there taking damage, like it's never like no. Those are the best. Have you ever like freeze framed like Palpatine dying and like you see him like if you're editing a video, you see him just like sitting, like he becomes like when they become like the holo, the holo character, they're like, they just like fall into the floor. You know, it's funny to watch in slow mo.
It is.
But yeah, so I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Of course, I mean, this was really mainly the topic was mainly to be speculation. I mean, obviously we have no data on this. I feel like there has to be some characters like Maurice said from episode 8 that we haven't gotten. I still think maybe there's a chance for the Knights of Ren, but I mean, like we said before, they really weren't that important to the greater story. Snoke, I still think, even though he ended up dying in The Last Jedi, I still think he's important enough of a character in the new trilogy that he should be in the game. So I hope that they release him, maybe even the Praetorian Guards. But they have these... so Palpatine has new royal guards, essentially, that are called Sovereign Protectors. Sorry, they're called Sovereign Protectors. And they're actually canon from the expanded universe. So, like, Palpatine... in the expanded universe, when he came back as a clone in the books, had Sovereign Protectors as his like new royal guards. So that's supposed to be like the upper echelon of the Sith troopers. Like the highest level you can get is like a Sovereign Protector who protects Palpatine directly. So and then we have the Sith Eternal cult, right? So there's a lot of things they could go with there. I don't think that they're going to actually release any of those characters, but there is a chance for... They introduced like a whole other empire, basically. I mean, like when you actually see the Sith fleet, right, there are, Sith, besides Sith troopers, there are like Sith, like rocket troopers, there are like Sith officers, there are there's a whole new thing. So they could essentially
Sith breakfast bars. There's jacuzzis.
Yeah, there's a Sith smoothie. There's everything. Okay, so what I'm saying is they could
Protein and dark side vitamins.
But how do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think about they release Palpatine and they make him a Sith Eternal character, right? And then they release a whole bunch of Sith Eternal characters and add like a new faction to the game.
Yeah, good luck. I love your thinking, and I love your energy on that, but come on.
It's possible.
Yeah. It's going to be an expensive faction. You're talking like 7 marquee characters. Just like...
Listen, you're only talking about like $7,000 in crystals, okay?
Well, do you know how many hookers and blow I can get for $7,000?
That's all it is. It's basically like a little... It's pocket change, right? So...
It's pocket change.
It's pocket change in comparison to what we've spent already in this game. But I mean, but no, I just wanted to mention what these characters are here. They have. Here you go. So you have.
All kinds of shit over there.
Am I?
Well, I hear all these noises and stuff. Are you
sorry. Okay, so there's.
Over there?
There is Sith. Capital ship officers. There's like fleet technicians here. There's they have like those technician helmets, like these characters here. They look like they have like these like cool looking like red helmets with like a black mask on their face. I mean, they could release that character in the game, like a Sith. Fleet officer, a Sith fleet technician, or Sith Eternal
fleet technician.
Listen, we got. What do you? I mean, you're acting like this.
Editor.
You're acting like you haven't played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I mean, we have First Order. We've got First Order officer. We've got every faction in the game ever. Like we got a pilot. We got a pilot of their. We could get Sith pilot, Sith trooper, Sith. I mean, they've already done Sith Trooper, right? Like, I mean, is that the only
new Sith stereo MC? He plays me.
But what I'm saying is, do you think that they were going to release Sith Trooper and then release no other characters that are part of the Sith?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, breaking Ramon's heart, man.
I don't mean to, but I gotta be real. They're going to introduce. Listen, this is all we get from the movie, Ramon. We're going to move on. They're going to get Kylo. We're going to get Rey. We're going to get... I'm guessing... I wouldn't be surprised if Palpatine came in. You'll probably need Kylo and Rey to get him. Poe, maybe one more dark side if that, and then they're moving on. I mean, they're not going to stick with past February. If you don't see any new characters for the movie, you ain't getting them. Not for a while.
Listen, we're getting old lady Leia. Okay, we're getting
old lady Leia.
we're getting Suicide Leia. Okay, we're getting.
They could have introduced Leia way back when, and I still, up to this date, do not know why, even after Carrie Fisher passed, that they didn't work on some kind of character for Leia's General Solo.
Right? Right?
Yeah, or Leia Organa. I mean, they could have done that, but they haven't.
I'm surprised that there hasn't been a General Leia Organa. There probably will.
Yeah, I look back at what they did for The Last Jedi, and unlike the other previous films, and I just don't think we're going to get a lot from it.
All we've gotten is Rolo. I mean, where's Endor Leia? She was in the game. You have to fight her.
Yeah, we are going to get those. I think Endor, the version of Rebels and stuff, will be coming in into the game after we get through these next 1 or 2 months of the remnants of characters we get from the Rise of Skywalker. Then they're going to go into introducing this next set of going back into episode 6 and start putting out a lot of new characters from there, like Han, Endor Han and Leia, and finally Jedi Luke, and some of this other stuff. But
they'll be required for Jedi Luke for sure.
Absolutely, they will. Yeah, I mean, let's be real. But,
Endor Leia is a guarantee for Jedi Luke. Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think, like, how many characters, because they're also like to think mathematically, about like what they have and what characters and stuff, and just looking at it, it just makes sense that they add just a couple of these characters to the game for now, round up the factions. So let's see here. If I go to Resistance,
they're gonna release Kylo's Dream Han.
So right now we have 12 Resistance characters. I mean, if they introduce Poe, that'll put us at 13. Jedi Rey will put us at 14. So maybe we get one more character that gives a round out 15. If we go to First Order, they have how many right now?
They got 10.
Yeah, so if you can see, like, Kylo will be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so we've got 10 right now. They'll probably add Kylo, and then you can mix and match for 2 teams. Maybe we get a version of Palpatine, but he's not going to be related to First Order, so he'll be a separate character.
So if Palpatine is a Sith, who's he going to work with? Is he going to be like a Traya character, or is he going to be a character to work with, like the ancient Sith, like the Sith Empire?
I think he'll be a character you can use with any Sith or evil faction, but I think he'll have synergy with, like, Sith, right? Because he is the embodiment of Sith. Just like I think Jedi Rey will be first. I mean, if they were to do it right, because of the story and the way the character went, her tags would be, of course, Resistance, but also Jedi.
So we got a donation way earlier. Maurice mentioned it from.
Good on Maurice Reddit.
From Blaze, thank you for that donation. But then we also just got another one from Jacobium. I hope I'm pronouncing.
No, I told you this last time. Her name is JCBM.
Okay, I'm sorry, I mispronounced the name. All right,
but no, I told you last week, man. Don't be mispronouncing my girl's name.
Okay, JCBM, I apologize for mispronouncing your name. Apparently, Ranger knows all, and he just
multiple times.
I bet you you're mispronouncing her name. I bet you.
No, because I know her personally, and I know how she told me her name is pronounced.
You've met her in person?
No. I just have done a lot of stuff with her and her husband. I've actually gone in and read my accounts, got on calls with them. They're actually lovely people.
Well, you're lovely to me. Okay, and I apologize for mispronouncing your name, but what she says is we are getting a new First Order ship. Why else the First Order pilot login? My thoughts. So I agree with her. There has to be a First Order ship coming. I mean, I think that new ship that Kylo has, baby. And then I think that, if you really want to go nuts, I'm going to break out the book again, guys. But there is a First Order capital ship. Well, not the First Order capital ship. There is a Sith the Sith capital ships, the new ones, that we could possibly get too. And maybe there's a new Palpatine, and maybe Palpatine is the maybe he's the commander of that ship.
I've never really looked at it from a Sith perspective. That could totally, because they give us hooks to kind of get us distracted. Like, oh, we're gonna get Because I'm all in on the First Order, hoping they get the ships. But hooks could just be a pure distraction. And they do release a Sith capital ship. Because we have all these Sith ships that are relatively worthless under all the current. They're good ships, but they don't have a capital ship to back them up, right? So
right. Yeah. Exactly.
That makes perfect sense.
So there is this right here. It's the Zeiston class Sith Star Destroyer, and it has the I could say there's a Death Star ray on the bottom of this thing. All right, so it's so that could be what we get, and there's also the TIE DG Starfighter, which is it looks like that ship from a Jedi Fallen Order, like that ship that the sister is flying. It kind of looks like that. It's called TIE Fighter, the TIE Dagger.
Yeah.
So that could be what we get. We could be getting the TIE Dagger. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And if
I could see them doing ships more than characters. Now that one, I think you have more of a because they've got to do something with ships. I do not understand their philosophy with ships. I mean, how long has it been? I mean, we get pieces and things here and there, but I mean, it's really mind-boggling. Like, what is their idea behind ships? Because it just doesn't make sense, to.
Oh, she thinks we're getting the supremacy.
Possibly. I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, it's a good possibility.
That's what she has to be talking about. She says the Mega First Order capital ship. That's the one that Snoke was on.
I don't know about that one.
Isn't that ship like the size of a planet? I feel like we discussed that on the show one night.
I don't think it would fit on the screen.
That ship would not fit on the screen. I mean, they would have to have it like in the distance somewhere.
But like if they had Hux, with a new one of the newer versions of the Star Destroyer come in, I would be cool.
I didn't think they would fit the Malevolence on the screen either. To be honest with you, I mean, so. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, maybe they make Palpatine and they give him the Death Star, just straight up. That's his ship. You know what I'm saying? Like he just roll out there. He just gonna straight up get the Death Star, and he just just beam the crap out of everybody.
Oh, God.
Like you guys are like hypothesizing all these like realistic scenarios, but you also have to think going back to the Hoth TBs that we use the Phoenix and we use the Rogue One characters and just. All these like the Phoenix on the day one, like that doesn't necessarily have to make sense. Like,
No, it doesn't. No, but if I've just been looking at the history of what they've been releasing and what they're doing. So when you go back and you look at what they released for the previous movies and stuff like that, it just other than Force Awakens and Rogue One, we didn't get a lot of new stuff.
What was Holdo's capital ship name?
I think it was called the Ramrod.
No, it was not. No, it was not.
I don't remember the name. I don't remember the names of the ships. I'm terrible at
that.
that.
The USS punch a hole in it.
We could totally get Snap Wexley. That's happening. I'm just calling it right now. So there's also the First Order has the Resurgent class Star Destroyer, which is another option, and then they have the TIE Whisperer.
The Whisper.
So we could technically get a First Order TIE Whisperer. That could happen. I mean, listen, there's a lot of things. I mean, there's so many factions. There's so many new characters with the, you talk about the Knights of Ren.
Yeah, they got a smorgasbord of stuff. I mean, who knows what they're going to do? I mean, they could bring in more Old Republic. They could go way old school. They could bring in Tulak Horde and some of the ancient Sith. They could go Darth Bane and Zorana. I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go. But we'll just
Kylo has a ship called the Modified TIE Whisperer. That's his ship in the movie.
not the Modified TIE Whisperer.
Yeah, so I mean I think that would I think they would release Kylo's ship too. I mean, Kylo has a ship in like every movie they release a new Kylo ship. So why wouldn't they release another one? But yeah, I mean,
realistically, go through your book. You're gonna drive yourself crazy.
yeah. I'm done. I'm done. I just
everyone's like, I want one of those.
I was really just the last thing.
I'm with you, man. If they brought all that stuff together, I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. I'm not paying for it, but you know,
I will have it, but I will not pay for it. Yeah,
no, I'll wait the long game.
I was just trying to find the whole. It's called the Radis. That's the name of the ship.
Yes, they were saying that in chat too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. I mean, listen. There's. It's really weird because in this movie they did not define the factions very well. Like, right? Like, I mean, is the Sith is the Sith and the First Order the same thing? I think they kind of hint that it is, right? So it's like. So I mean, I don't know, but. And then they have the Final Order, right? So there's like technically like 3 factions. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the top 5 and the meta report here. So
let's just skip the meta report. Go to the top 5. That'll be worth it.
Listen, we never skip the meta report. We're not starting today, okay? And you know what? It's worth it because guess who's at the top of the meta now?
The baby Jesus,
Darth Revan.
Well, I am shocked.
I didn't want to blow your mind, but, honestly, I really thought that this list was going to be a little bit more advanced after the re-release of the General Skywalker event. I thought that there would be more General Skywalkers than there are, but if you think about it, they didn't add. It wasn't that much. The original event didn't happen that long ago, so I'm sure that there were a lot of people that still weren't ready for the event this time.
Well, there's other considerations. One, to gear, right? You have to have all those new gear pieces for me.
That's a lot of gear. Yeah, and there's still a lot of people who can't get 7-star gas yet.
Yeah, I mean, I did the math. I need 2.5 TBs, depending on all I do in the raids. Right. So, I mean, he's almost past finish line, and I am 5 shards away.
Oh, that sucks.
And I've been 5 shards away for a while.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's killing me. It's killing me.
But then, and then you have the relic, and a lot of investment to get him to where you need him at. And not just him, the clones with him are heavily gear dependent.
Yes.
And getting them to gear and relic. So for me, when I'll be on that list here soon, in the next couple of weeks, where my gas will be my main arena team, right? But I've already reliced all the clones, and I'm just waiting for gas to hit 7 stars so I can gear him and relic him, and then I'll flip my arena team. So I'll be contributing to that list, and we'll have 1 less Darth Revan and 1 more gas to add to that. But it's incredible, like between the gear, get 1, and just everything to get him, and then the team you need around to make him effective, because you have to have all 5 of first, right? Because of his Zeta and stuff. So it's basically taking a team from scratch and then getting them to where you need to be. And it's a lot. That's why I think it's going to be even slower until you start seeing General Skywalker. And I still agree with you, Riemann, that I think it's going to be cool. It's going to eventually take over. There's no doubt in that in my mind. But it's going to be a slow process still.
Still a few months away. But So I have no problem answering that question, Maurice. I mean, we have discussed having Avi and Ranger on screen with us. The problem is the logistics behind it, and really, I would just have to change the format of the stream a little bit so that we'd probably have the window of the gameplay be a little bit smaller, and then we could do it, like kind of the way Ranger and Finity do it on the Jedi Academy, where they have everybody on the top. We could possibly do it that way. If they wanted to, I'm not saying everybody would be on screen every week. I mean, maybe I'm having a bad hair day and I don't want to be on, but I'm saying nonetheless, we've discussed it. The problem is the way I have Maurice on screen right now it's like we literally do it through Hangouts, right? So to have a 4 people on a Hangouts call like that, the way we're doing it, it would be really complicated. Like I technically, the way I'm doing it is not the right way to have somebody on screen with Maurice. Like I literally did like a workaround so that Maurice is logged in through Hangouts, and then I'm just straight up from my camera on my computer. So it's a little different, but I mean, I have a separate camera, but I'm saying nonetheless, we could work that out. I mean, I just have to change some things. I'll talk with them about it. We'll see if that's something that they want to do. But ultimately, it would be cool to have all 4 of us on screen for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always down to do it. I mean, I tried to tell this to Remon before, but he got angry and struck me violently. I don't want to.
Honestly, the problem is always the same thing. It's everything that I do is last minute, so it's like so I tried to figure out a way to get this solved, like maybe an hour before the stream starts, and it's not like a simple thing like that. It would take probably a couple hours to get that prepared. So like one day I'll have to sit down and get that ready during the week, and then
not really,
not really.
No, it's a pretty simple thing. I mean, good on Maurice, he's probably checking. We use Zoom, and with Zoom you can do you can't do the individual like you want to do it, but you can get everybody on camera. You just create a window for that specifically. So
right.
You just have a couple changes and that's it.
Okay,
that's why we use Zoom. So yeah, it's not that hard.
So we could do that. But just going back to the meta report, I like you said, I think that's going to be a little bit more of a gradual process. I thought that by now, or maybe by next week, that General Skywalker would be like probably 20% more than he is right now, and I just don't see that happening at the moment. So
no, it'll start. I think in the next few weeks you'll start seeing that shift as people that already had him are going to start getting him 7 stars and throwing them in there, and then the people that just got him, because it was short notice, something caught them, and then they're eventually going to catch up, because 2 months was not enough to get 68,400 get one unless you've been saving it. Even if they had started once gas had ended, saying, okay, I need to start saving my get for that. No way you have enough get one especially with light site TV and stuff. Oh my God. That really put a pooper into things too, because we weren't as much get one, so that kind of had an impact on there as well.
I think that we'll see a shift eventually, but I'm also kind of curious about how this is going to work with the new characters. Like I said, if Rey and Kylo are going to be, if they're going to try to sell those characters, they're going to have to be good, okay? And I feel like people are not going to go nuts over 2 new characters that are just going to be additions to TW or Grand Arena. They're going to want them to be meta, right? So
no, I don't think they're going to be meta. I Padme, like they'll be meta defining, but they're not going to be meta changing. They're not going to take over. They're going to be good enough to where they'll beat most teams. They're going to be that good, like Padme can. But like they're going to be a tier right along. I say they're going to be along right below Darth Revan. They'll still be gas Darth Revan, but you can't Padme, and then they'll be right there around that level. Like you'll need a top team to beat them once everything's said and done. But it depends on their kits too. I mean, they could try to make them up being script.
I'm telling you, I think Gas's life in the meta is going to be short-lived. I really do, and I think it's a disappointing thing, because I think that people that went nuts for this guy are very disappointed right now. You know what I'm saying? Because
of course we are, but I mean,
bear in mind it's the character just came out. They gave everybody. I mean, and it literally happened exactly like I said. 2 months later, they released the character, and everybody that didn't get him the first time, had 2 more months to get prepared, and then if they saved up their get tokens, they were able to pretty much just refresh the store and get the 7 stars in a day. You know what I mean? So it's like,
but I mean, even if he's not arena meta, Gas now makes the other. I think 6-8 months ago, the clones were absolutely worthless.
Yeah,
they were no good apart from maybe Rex's leadership. They were garbage, and now I mean, while he might only be arena meta for 3-4 months, you now have the whole faction's usable. They all got new tags. You can throw Ahsoka in there, who previously was awful as well.
Oh my God, ARC Trooper is a boss.
I think they're going to be. I'm kind of with Ranger. I think they're going to be very, very good. But they're not going to be arena. But you could probably beat things in arena, but heaven help you if you leave it on defense, you wake up in the 40s or 50s. Kind of like I use a GG nuke team still on occasion. If somebody's Darth Revan's faster than mine, there's been several occasions where I'll take first with my Grievous team and forget to play again, and I'll wake up the next day and be in the 40s, because I left it in my team. There's going to be you might even have an offensive couple teams, and then you have like a team for defense. Like there might be an arena meta defense and offense that could change. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I also know that you're probably not going to have it all immediately.
No.
Right. And bear in mind also that we're getting a new. So right after this Rise of Skywalker content, we also just had the Mandalorian, and we're getting a new season of the Clone Wars in February. Okay, so if anybody has Disney Plus, or you have access to watch the episodes of the original series of the Clone Wars, now's the time to binge that. And then get ready for the last season that's coming out on, I think it's February 17th.
Yeah, whenever it is, I can't wait. So
when that comes out, we'll possibly get some new characters from the Clone Wars also, because they'll probably want to promote that in game as well.
Possibly. It'll depend. I don't foresee anything. Maybe we get a new upgraded Darth Maul version of him. I don't think they're going to do anything with Ahsoka. And I don't think they're going to do anything Anakin or Kenobi. But maybe a couple will come in. That would be interesting.
I think they'll do the reason I'm mentioning it is because of gas. I think they're going to add some new clones. Maybe. Right? And if they possibly that could change the meta a little bit too.
Could do it. But they did say they were going to be stepping away from focusing on other stuff, so we'll see what happens.
You
never know. Mace Windu rework.
Yeah, you can't trust anything that they say.
No, you can't.
No, I mean
it'd be foolish for them not to do anything on the Mandalorian too. That'd be just that show.
I think they've already started, but it's going to take them time to get that character.
I don't think they realized how popular that it was going to be. I mean, it was
the same thing happened with Rebels.
Do we know the name? Do we know the name of the Mandalorian?
Yeah, they gave it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So they could. Okay. All right. I was wondering if they would just call him the Mandalorian in game, like like the Mando.
Well, they'll probably just call him. They'll probably just call him something like that. They're not going to probably use his Mandalorian name.
Oh, they have to. If he has a real name, they have to use his real name. For sure. They
the confusion,
yeah. I mean, you can't just call him the Mandalorian. I mean that like if they release like the Baby Yoda, I mean they're not gonna just call him Baby Yoda.
Well, that's because that's a name that we gave him,
right?
Whereas the Mandalorian is something that the show has basically given him. So.
That's why I don't think that we'll see Baby Yoda, because there's no way they're going to be able. They're not going to give them the okay to add that character.
Well, yeah, well, it'd be cute because if he was in there, sort of like Hermit Yoda and Yoda, it's like every time he uses one of his spells, he goes to sleep. I think it'd be cute.
His name would be the child. People are saying the child. That would be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the top 10 squad members, and again, it's going to be more clones, and we're seeing that Grandmaster Yoda is being pushed to the end of the list here, and the clones are moving up. So, so we're getting now at number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is Rex, 7 is Fives, 8 is Echo, and 9 is General Skywalker. So, I mean, interesting. And they're actually taking up, more of the pie, because you got to bear in mind that the piece that's General Skywalker on the top 10 leaders at rank 1 is just a portion of it, right? There's also another, you have to factor in all those Padme leads as well. That's really all that same meta, right? So, so if you look at the combination of the Padme leads and the General Skywalker leads, that's really where you're seeing the and Shak Ti as well. That's where you're seeing the clone meta, really. So, So they're actually taking up a larger piece of the pie than you would imagine by looking at just General Skywalker's piece himself. But that's pretty much that. So we're going to move on to the top 5. And the top 5 this week is going to be top 5 Relic 7 tanks. Okay, so we were going to do just top 5 Relic 7 characters, but Maurice wants to do a little bit more research before he releases that list, so we're going to do that most likely next week. But this week we're doing top 5 tanks to get to Relic 7. So at number 5, who do we have here, Maurice?
I believe number 5 is L337. L337. Now I'm getting a lot of data from it's a very old Relic post. When the Relics came out, it was I forget the guy's name, but I've got it pulled up here. I'll try to post that in the link in the chat here in just a second. But L337 gets it basically this spreadsheet basically combines like health, protection, and defense all into like one lump stat called survivability. Hers is relatively high, and you guys have to think every time that she's constantly adding, stacking on health to her max health pool, right? So the more relics and the better you mod her, health. Especially that's the higher she's going to stack her max health, just become a real pain in the butt to kill. Especially if you do use, I've seen some combinations using Watt. But this is basically a top 5 tanks, but with Watt, I guess. But it's just an incredible pain. All sorts of leads, especially in the 3 vs 3. We're seeing Clone Wars Chewbacca, we're seeing Kira, we're seeing Stormtrooper Han, all sorts of great leaderships to kind of make those stall teams. She gets a significant amount of defense going from 12 to 13, and then also some at the relic level. She's a good candidate. Her and 5s are very, very good candidates for those defense percentage secondaries you guys might have. Maybe you have like a little 10-speed mod that got 2 or 3 good rolls in defensive percentage. Once you 6E those mods, it goes up pretty significantly, and you can start getting characters into the 70-80% armor threshold. That's a real pain. So she's just a great option. Very, very versatile tank. She's a droid and a scoundrel. So that's 2 very, very large factions that she can play a role in. And she does have that Zeta. As you can see here, I do have it. It's not been very useful lately, but that's all right. It will kind of give a droid a get out of jail free card. So it's a very, very good tank. Pre-taunting tank that continues to taunt and taunt and taunt. So
yeah, I mean, L3 is a really good part of that Kira team, and I mean, where would you say that L3 really fits best in, like, what squad?
Probably your scoundrel. 5 vs 5, probably your scoundrel teams. 3 vs 3, I've seen some people use it with Grievous. I got lots of different kind of goofy places you can put her. Or him, her.
It's a her, Maurice. It's a her.
Yeah.
Lando made sure to let us know that.
Yes, indeed. I think simply because her healing applies better to the scoundrels and droids. Probably with your scoundrels. Droid's got IG 100 now. He's not very good, but.
Let me ask you, now that you know that Lando is into droid chicks, right? Do you look at Billy D. Williams a little differently now? Yeah, me neither. I still look at them as like 2 separate characters, which I shouldn't, right? But I also look at Solo as a separate character than Harrison Ford. They should have done it. Mm-hmm. I think they should have. Although I think that both of those actors did a good job in the movies, I feel like they should have gotten characters that looked more like their saga film counterparts. You know what I mean? So you know this game, by the way, has made more money than Solo and Rogue One.
Say that again.
So Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes has made more money for Lucasfilm than Rogue One or Solo. It hasn't touched The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi or anything, because they've made over $1 billion with those. But if you think about money-wise, like, this game has generated more revenue than the non-saga films for Star Wars.
Well, Rogue One made over $1 billion.
Rogue One made over $1 billion? You sure?
Yeah, positive.
Okay, well then it didn't make more money than Rogue One. I have to look this up now, but I mean,
yeah, I think Rogue One is one of the most popular Star Wars movies.
Oh, it's definitely one of the best Star Wars movies ever, for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying that I didn't think it made that.
It
much.
just made over $1 billion. Yeah.
I thought it made under $1 billion, but
no. If you're just looking at the domestic, yeah, but I think it made like 500 something million domestic, billion like overseas or something like that. So, as far as I understand, yeah, Rogue One. I mean, the only movie that did not make $1 billion, or two. Rise of Skywalker still in the theater. So, but it looks like it's going to hit over $1 billion. The only one that didn't was Solo, but Solo just went.
Still, my point is that the fact that this game is even in the conversation to have made as much money as one of these saga films is nuts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's yeah, the fun false fact of the night. Guys, listen, I shoot from the hip, guys, okay? This is there's no research here. Okay? This is just I pour my heart out here, guys, all right? Pour my heart out here.
Oh god.
Yes. And that Vader scene probably pushed them over $1 billion. Okay? That Vader, you cut that Vader scene out, under $1 billion. All right? Under $1 billion. But that's our number 5 tank to get to Relic 7. Moving along to our number 4 tank at Relic 7, we have Stormtrooper Han. Saint Han.
That's right. This one does come with a Zeta, guys. So to keep that in mind, there's no sense of relicking him if you don't have that Zeta. He will get a little bit additional protection, but out of all the tanks, him and Poe, this survivability stat I'm talking about, him and Poe have the absolute highest. His about 104% in terms of just overall increase to his survivability. Him and Poe are right there neck and neck. He's an agility-based tank, which could be used to your advantage, or if you really, or disadvantage, however you want to look at it. So that means he will get a little bit of evasion, which kind of negates his hit me, I'll give you turn meter, but at the same time, he's a squishier tank. He's an agility-based tank. But with that protection that he gets, he just constantly funnels protection back to himself. Every time you attack him, he does have a small chance to remove turn meter. Just gives him wicked survivability. Mine's Relic 4, and he's easily over 100,000 health protection, which is a lot of protection for him to be getting back as well. His protection, he just gets a little more protection. I think all the tanks, with the exception of maybe like Mace and Plo Koon, I'd have to look, but all the taunting tanks for the most part get protection in their mastery. He's no different. Just lots of health, lots of just defense. Another, if you do have that Zeta, you want to stack him with tons and tons and tons of protection. You see here that I don't have very many 6E mods on them because they're all protection based. So, you don't really, those aren't really, you don't generally want to 6E your protection mods unless they just have ridiculous speed or they're arena team. But relatively easy to mod. The days of old where you want to have a fast Stormtrooper Han, those are long gone. There's no more wigs and stuff. So you just want him to sit there and eat it. He's an excellent candidate to use with Wat Tambor. He can be a real pain. You relic him up. You put him with Wat, he's a nightmare. That is a very realistic team to counter these gas teams with CLS, Han, Chewie, Stormtrooper Han, Relic, and then a Wat Tambor. That is actually a counter to the upcoming meta. So he's a character we all have. If you guys have some extra resources laying around, which I guess it's hard to come by nowadays, those characters, he's a good choice. He's a scoundrel and a rebel, two of the largest factions in the game. So he's real plug and play. Very, very good character.
You can never go wrong with having another rebel tank in the game, right? Because at the end of the day, I feel like that's the one faction where you're lacking like an additional tank all the time. It's either Stormtrooper Han or a Scarif Rebel Pathfinder or Old Ben or... I mean, there's others, but I'm just saying, like, obviously you could do Hoth Rebel Soldier... characters like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think Stormtrooper Han is still probably.
Did you just say Hoth Rebel Soldier?
No, I'm thinking.
Yes.
I'm thinking. What I'm saying is, listen. when you're doing TW or GA, sometimes you got to go deep into your roster, okay? And
you don't.
yes, you do, okay? And having a Stormtrooper Han reliced out is a good piece to have for sure.
No, he is, but then I think Hoth Rebel Soldier.
Baze for sure, absolutely, Felipe. But Baze ties in with Chirrut. Like you have to have Baze and Chirrut together. And I feel like being able to have a guy like Stormtrooper Han where you can just insert a tank. And I'm shooting from the hip here. But if you have just a one rebel tank that you want to throw in there, I actually like Stormtrooper Han better than Old Ben, to be honest with you.
So do I.
Yeah.
Well, they're all trolling me in the chat thinking that I'm just a fanboy, but you can clearly look on SWGOH.GG for yourselves and see that he is the second highest tank in the entire game in terms of difference in health percentage from Gear 13 to Relic 7.
You put him. We faced that in 3v3 on this weekend. Remember that team Maurice that had Newt, Watt, and Stormtrooper Han.
Yeah.
And that team was a pain in the ass. I mean,
and that was only a Gear 12 Zeta Gear
right.
Han.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, look at this crap. I mean, I beat it, but I was like, I went in with the first team. We were trying to not use a better team to use it. So do you remember what we went in there with the first time with? And we're like, this should work. And they're like, oh.
No, that's the one we went Greedo, Han, and Chewie on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just missed Kelly Watt by like 2 health. I went back and looked. I was like, oh no. But once that team got going, holy Jesus. So yeah, Stormtrooper Han
is good, and listen, there is somebody out there this week that defeated some. Oh, we got the
Midnight Express.
The Midnight Express. The Midnight Express is blowing through South Carolina. So we have the. So somebody this week defeated somebody in Grand Arena with a Hoth Rebel Soldier. I promise you, it happened. Okay, so you guys out there doubting Hoth Rebel Soldier. Okay,
stop.
There was somebody out there that had to level him up. There was somebody out there that had to level him up for Hoth territory battles, and they have a high level Hoth Rebel Soldier.
Stop, just please.
And this player will also be banned on Monday because they're clearly cheating in Grand Arena. I tried to like him, Ramon. I got a Gear 12. I tried to like it.
I really liked Hoth Rebel Scout when the game first dropped.
He was very, very good. When the game came, yes, he was very good.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, was.
Yeah.
I have both of them. I have both of them at G12, so I stick them in there sometimes.
I think mine are still like 10 and 11 just from Hoth, but I haven't touched them in forever, and I won't. They're just where they're at, and they're not moving. So, oh Lord. All right, what's number 3? I'm really curious now.
Okay, that's our number 4 tank to Relic 7. Our number 3 tank, Maurice. Who do we have here?
I believe this is going to be Crew. Much like L3, Crew and L3, they're not up towards the top of their categories.
You're going to get shit for this one. This whole list.
No, I mean there's only so many.
Not for Crew.
No, but yes, L3 and Crew you won't see at the very top of the list, but both of them function off health-based mechanics. L3 stacks onto her max health, and Crew gets regeneration based on his max health. And so the more health you stack onto him, the more regeneration, the harder he's going to be to kill. He gets extremely, extremely difficult. I mean, if you guys go on SWGOH, there are people with well over 120k health on this character now, and he's going to regenerate 8% of that every time you hit him. Especially if you don't crit him or you use some kind of weakling like Barris or somebody to hit him, it's just actually going to do more harm than good. Very, very good character. He is a ship captain, so if you do, or not a captain, but he's a pilot. So if you do put the relics on him, his ship is going to go. It's already super fast. There might be one ship faster than it. I think it's top 3 in terms of base speed. You put the relics on, it's going to go even faster. We talked earlier. Perhaps we might get some sort of first order capital ship or something of that nature. So that would be something to consider as well. Just a very, very good character. Gets a good chunk of defense, good chunk of health, gets protection. I believe he gets some health steal as well. from his mastery, which is helpful because he's a countering tank. So if you do hit him, you're gonna give him some health back, and then he's gonna counter and get a little bit of health still. He doesn't hit for very much, but every little bit counts. So it's a good just overall package wise for the character and the kit. That's why he's number 3.
Okay.
So
Yeah, for
Very
sure.
nice.
No, I still think that Crew has one of the better leader abilities in the game. I think his.
Yep.
Oh, it's a very nice lead ability. And you know, people underestimate. I mean, the hard counter is resistance. And I mean, JTR destroys any Kylo Ren team, unless it's got Watt. But I mean, definitely if you put just faction by faction, it is a hard counter. And there are some hard counters to this team. But as a tank himself, I remember when Darth Revan came out, what was the main tank people were using was Crew.
Yeah.
You know, because he's
I
just
used him
that
on the
good.
Darth Revan team.
I mean, there's actually 2 really good tanks with Crew. The other one that's a really fantastic tank is First Order Stormtrooper. Not as
Yes.
good, but he's really a solid tank, and I've used him in multiple teams before, just as a plug-in character. And yeah, but yeah, Crew's really been. I mean, don't. First Order is really good. I mean, they're
So-
not as powerful as they used to be, but they're still really solid.
So the best First Order team still includes 2 Kylos right now, right?
Yes. it's-
Yeah.
Do,
So
do-
absolutely.
do you think that when they release the new Kylo, that the best First Order team will now include 3 Kylos?
Oh.
The
possibly.
Wow.
best team probably, but you want to split them up and make. You could probably make 2 B+, A- teams with splitting them up. I
Also-
think.
I think
Go
they
ahead.
do Kylo with Hux and the new Sith Trooper.
Yeah.
With 2 more is going to be the team that's going to be the new team, and you can still keep your other First Order team intact, and that's going to make 2 really solid teams. You can put one on offense, or keep one for defense, or go 2 on defense and free up your other heavy teams because they're going to be really good. So it's going to give you a lot of flexibility with the characters to make 2 really solid dynamic teams.
It's really kind of weird because it's really the only team that's like that, right? I mean, most other duplicate characters don't really work well together, right? Like, I mean, like you don't really see like people using 2 Hans effectively in one team, or 2 Rays in one. Well, actually, the Ray actually is one of them that there's 2 Rays work together well. I guess.
Oh, yeah,
Scavenger,
I use stick Ray
Yeah.
with JTR all the time. You know, it's a great combination.
Yeah. So I guess that's that basically shites on my theory. But nonetheless, it would be interesting to see who the new Kylo works well with. I agree. It's going to definitely be Hux and Sith Trooper. But again, we'll have to see what other characters drop to kind of round out the rest of that faction and maybe make a second entire First Order team. It'd be crazy to have 2 full First Order squads that are like viable. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. But that is our number 3 tank to get to Relic 7. Moving along to our number 2 tank, we have Bosk.
Yes, indeed. Excuse me. Trying to find his stats here, and there we are. Yeah, Bosk, in terms of tanks, the survivability stat, he's up near the very, very top. That's going to be, again, health, protection, and defense all included into one stat. Let me post that before I forget. Here is the spreadsheet that I'm referring to, guys. I'll post it in the chat now. But Bosk is up there in terms of that, and he's just the centerpiece of any bounty hunter team. It's very difficult to build a bounty hunter team without him. He's got, still to this day, arguably one of the top 3 ships, if not the very best ship, in the game.
Mhm.
It's you want the relics, you want the Gear 13 on him, you want the 6C mod, so that way the ship is tankier, it's better. And just the healthier, the tankier he is, the faster he is, just makes the bounty hunter team that much more difficult. We've seen Django, how dynamite Django is relic, and some of these other bounty hunters, people are starting to relic. We're starting to see that this team is quite formidable. It much like First Order, it is pretty susceptible to the resistance, but every team has its counter. But if you mess up, you misclick, you don't get your BB-8 speed right, all of a sudden Boss taunts. It's tough. They've got Django and Boba Fett right behind them, just bypassing your taunts, just bringing the pain. Imbo is actually very, very good. I faced a relic Imbo the other day. That's no joke. He hits pretty hard too. So I think the bounty hunter team is kind of a sleeper faction. People are starting to use it to counter things like Night Sisters. Offensively and defensively, it's a very, very good team. And Bosk, again, is the centerpiece. Harder he is to kill, the better off you are. And of course, his leadership provides even more defense, more protection. So the more health and protection he has himself, the more benefit he'll get out of his own leadership, making him even more difficult to kill. I'm not a big bounty hunter fan, but I am starting to jump, kind of shift towards them here now that I've got some other stuff done. Quite pleased with how they're developing. So,
well, yeah, CLS counters. So it depends on the speed of your boss, and this is what we always talk about: is you want tons of protection, health. You want to set up as you want tons of speed. Either one, like the speed of my boss right now is 307. If I go boss by himself, that's still pretty solid. But there are some high end JTR teams that can still outspeed it, right? So, but if you go Django leading that free speed, I mean, good lord! And I've had so many defensive holes with my bounty hunter team because Bosk is so fast, and once you get the Z on, he keeps taunting no matter what. And once they hit payout, then it becomes a nightmare. And so yeah, Bosk is nasty, especially once you get his speed up. Once you start getting him above 270 speed, especially if you're using a Django lead, and you start 300 speed with the leadership from Django, he becomes really nasty, especially if you have the Z on.
Yeah, putting Watt on the team with bounty hunters. Oh my God. We're talking about like something that it just won't die. It's great for territory battles. But still, the bounty hunters, some of them just still don't have that much damage output. And so if you go up, so I would go up against a Shock T team, and oh my God, it takes me a long time. They'll go 4-4 in whatever phase you put them in if you have Watt on the team. But it will take you a long time because the damage output really isn't as great. But the health input is just fantastic. I think the last Shock T battle that I went up against took me 57 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I ended up putting it on auto because it was like, oh my God, my fingers started, cramping up. So,
but yeah, Bosk is great, especially because of the ship, right? So I mean, getting him the Relic 7 makes the Houndstooth a much better ship too. So it's you have to factor that in when you're thinking about what you're going to relic too. So that's why crew is also such an important piece. But the bounty hunters are still a great faction, and being that now this game, especially with all the new game modes like GA and TW, you need to have like a deep roster with a ton of different factions, different teams to be able to plug and play. So there are tons of counters and tons of alternative options to kind of throw in for different teams that you're facing against, depending on what level of opponent you have. And I'd still say that the bounty hunters are still one of the I'd say one of the mid-level teams. They're definitely not up there with like the Gases or the Revens or anything like that, but they're I'd still think that they're a little bit above the First Order at the moment.
Yeah, they're like, pick a faction. You can go the Kira Scoundrel route. You can go Boss Bounty Hunters. You can go First Order with crew, and they're all very equal. It just depends on how much you invest in them, how good they're going to be. So,
yeah, they're like it's like there's you have like these upper echelon teams, and then you have like the like you said, like the crews and the Kira teams. You have the I'd still say the Jedi team with like Jedi Revan is probably still above these teams for sure.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Revan would kill them.
Yeah. But the other teams like the CLSs are still up there. But then there's like there's more bottom level teams, and it'd be nice to actually put together a tier list one day of like where we kind of rank all the teams and the factions. Maybe we'll do that instead of a top 5 one week. But that is our number 2 tank to get to Relic 7. Who do we have at number 1, Maurice?
Number 1 is going to be none other than General Kenobi. General Kenobi is number 1. He's slightly above average in terms of health and protection gains for the Relic, and he gets a good amount of defense. It's just now he's just such a huge part of so many. You just mentioned Jedi Revan. If you don't have Padme, he's a definite in that team. He's a huge part of the Padme team. He does get a good amount of health, as all these characters do. With the exception of Stormtrooper Han, these are all strength mastery tanks, and most of them are. There's very, very few other tanks that aren't. But he's going to get lots of health that will really benefit the Padme team. Just overall, a nice relic package for still arguably the best tank in the game. So light side tank for sure. So. And again, he is the capital ship. We talked about ships with Bosk. He is actually the fleet commander of the Galactic Republic. So, you got to get him Relic 7. Otherwise, you're going to lose the coin flip in terms of the days every single time. So you will need him Relic 7. And you're going to need him Relic regardless, probably for the gas event itself. So,
oh, yeah.
So you'll get while it sucks to Relic 7 a tank initially, you get a lot of benefit out of him, just an overall game mode in all the game modes. He's good in everything. He'll get you a couple characters. You could use him in quite a few events now, I think. So he's required for the light side territory battles, the new Geonosis. So as we all know, you have to have at least Relic 7 characters for that for any map. So you get a lot of use out of him. You'll use him for the rest of the time. So.
Now, bear in mind, guys, this is not the top 5 tanks in the game. Okay, this is the top 5 tanks to get to Relic 7.
Yeah.
The top 5 tanks in the game would be a different list.
Yeah.
The top 5 tanks to Relic 7, we're looking at overall value of the Relic, right? So getting it to Relic 7, because, again, also Kenobi has a capital ship, there's a lot more value in getting your Kenobi to Relic 7. Now, this is based on people having to kind of allocate their resources according to where it's going to be most important at the moment. And we're saying basically that it makes more sense to allocate some of those resources towards, let's say, a Kenobi over a 5s, for example, because you're going to need Kenobi to get gas. You're going to need Kenobi for the capital ship. At Relic 7, and then eventually you want to go for your 5s after that. Not saying 5s isn't a great tank, but getting Kenobi to Relic 7 is just a bit more important. Now,
right.
Yeah, 5s was actually the last tank that was cut from this list. Yeah,
he was close.
Yeah, he's very, very good. His Relic's good for him. It's very, very good, but I just don't. Yeah.
Yeah. The top 5 tanks, I'd still say that you have. You'd still have a Scion on the list. You'd still have, Malik would be at the top 3 for sure. And, Kenobi would probably still be on that list at maybe he'd be at like number 5 or number 4. But definitely an honorable mention at least. But yeah, it'd be a different list. So we do have an honorable mention though. And that kind of ties to what we were discussing here. And that is Darth Malik.
He makes the list for no other reason that he is just one of the very, very best characters in the game. His relics, in terms of benefit, you get like percentage gains and stuff, is awful. He's one of the very, very worst tanks in terms of stat increases percentages in the game. But most people have done him. Simply because he's the very best character in the game. A dark side, I would say.
Relic 5, he's good.
Yeah, that's where I stopped.
Yeah.
I stopped him there. I'm not going to put any more on him. But just. He's just a little bit better of the best. So I mean, it was very difficult to make any tank list and not include Darth Malik. I debated between him and 5s because 5s is very good as well. But just his but the thing is, he gets small percentage gains, but his pools are much larger than some of these other tanks on the list. So it is what it is.
You don't need to have a Relic 7 Malik, and that's what we're basically saying is it's not that getting Malik to Relic 7 isn't something that you want to do eventually. It's just that there is a bigger bonus for getting a Stormtrooper Han to Relic 7 than getting a Malik to Relic 7. Not saying that Stormtrooper Han then becomes better than Malik, but Stormtrooper Han then becomes more viable himself. Then you're getting a much better return on your investment for relicking Stormtrooper Han to 7 than you are for Malik, because Malik isn't getting as much of a stat increase.
Right.
Yeah, like Stormtrooper Han becomes a very dynamic character once relic that's very average at year 12. You know what I mean? Darth Malik is very, very good at year 12, and he's very, very, very good, once relic 7. So it's just So yeah. What is this list? Right. Best 3 vs 3 plug and play character? No.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he just jumped in, I guess, and saw, was wondering what we were doing.
Maybe. I mean, I guess it could kind of apply though. They're all kind of they all kind of apply. But yeah.
But
That's it.
Yeah, but that's our top 5 tanks to Relic 7. We are going to work on top 5 characters overall to Relic 7 and their general value, but this is the first list. And listen, guys, you got to bear in mind that sometimes we just want to kind of change up the theme. You can only do, so many top 5, top 5 attackers, top 5 Jedi, top 5 Sith, so it's good to try to switch it up and do some different things. But if you guys do like that kind of thing, please do smash the like button. Please do also subscribe to the channel, as it does help the channel out, and it shows us that you appreciate what we're doing here. But we're going to go ahead and move back into some gameplay, and while we do that, we're going to go ahead and take any of your questions or topics that you'd like to discuss. So I know I haven't seen a great deal of questions in the chat, mostly just people sharing their thoughts, which is great. I mean, I really appreciate you guys chiming in and letting us know what you think. But now would be the time, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask or any topics you want to discuss before we wrap up the stream here, we'll go ahead and take those now. So if you guys want to discuss anything, type it into the chat. We'll scoop it up, and we're going to wrap up the stream here relatively soon because we are running a little late here. So, yeah, it was a fun list, and hopefully we'll get a different one. Maybe we'll get the top 5 characters to Relic 7 overall next week.
All right, yeah, we get a few here. This one actually comes from Minato Namikaze, specifically for me, for Gom. We all know you have a hard on for Poe. Would you rather see him get a rework for us, or would you rather see him get a rework or get a Resistance Hero Poe? Well, I think since we got Resistance Hero Finn, what a stupid name for a video game. Resistance Hero Poe is probably right around the corner. I think Ranger, they were talking about that earlier. I think the existing Poe.
Okay, that's not just me. Apparently. Yep, and he's frozen in his duck face.
He got so upset.
He's frozen in his duck face look.
Way to go for Takagi. That's what carry.
It's there. Oh, there he went. He just left. That's funny.
That's science. Say it one more time.
My mic is off, so these guys aren't hearing me either. Jesus. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, now
you're there.
Yeah, I was saying that Gom will come back and he'll take those questions when he gets back here. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah,
my internet just went wonky.
I was muted the whole time. I was trying to explain that you weren't here either, so it's like just technical difficulties all around the board. But yeah, so
you guys go ahead and answer that one. I've got to pull up here. I've got to be on my phone.
Yeah, the one I was asking is the Honkler asks speed arrow or crit avoidance arrow on Nest or something else.
Well, it depends on how you're using her. If you wanted to make her super fast and you're using her certain team, you need speed with damage and stuff. And if you're going to go high tenacity and stuff, you can go quick. So speed's not a thing. It's just how you want to use her.
And
both are right.
Yeah, because there's certain circumstances to where you want her slow and high tenacity, and there's just times you want her maybe more offense and speed. It depends upon what team you're going to put her with. I have mine slow with high tenacity. I think I have 167% tenacity on her.
Yeah, I still use mine super fast with tons of offense. So on,
Yeah.
I either put her on, and if I use her on defense, I'll put her with Kara, and then I'll put her on the bounty hunter team and use her in the fence like that. So, kind of how I use her. There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
So, Maurice, you going to answer your question?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Things went crazy here for a second.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we
it's
can
okay.
hear you.
Go ahead.
All right, let me hang this up. Yeah, just I think we're gonna get a new Poe. I think the existing Poe is fine. I don't think he really needs much of a rework. He's a dated character. You know, if we get a new Poe, then that's going to be the new jam. So yeah, new Poe.
It's coming.
Yeah. All right. So, have you guys asked any questions off this list, or you just answer one from the chat?
The only one we asked from the chat was that one that from the Honkler. Other than that, we haven't answered anything else.
All right, Jason BM, best Sidious comp.
No.
Well,
No.
I don't think Sidious really fits in anywhere.
His kid's too old now.
His kid's too old, and it really needs to be hyped up to even be effective. Now, he doesn't last at all in territory battles, no matter what level he's at right now.
Yeah, he's so squishy, and it just doesn't do anything now, especially with the way comps are set up. I mean, you could use him for say you're running a Vader, Canderous kind of AoE kind of team, but the problem with that team, though, is it's very specific because you have teams that do the tenacity up and all that other stuff, where it just makes Sidious so useless. Even a Sith team, he just doesn't bring enough to the table like he did when he first came out. I mean, Sidious back in the day was really good, but he just outdated. It's just some things that have happened, like some of these other characters that their kits just don't match up with the insane teams and kits that they put out now.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best leader in the game at first, like a long time ago.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah,
he was really good, and then it's just they've not done anything with him. They haven't improved his kit or reworked him, and he's just sitting there with really no real good home.
Yeah.
If he fits okay on a Darth Maul team. If you're just if you have that Darth Maul Zeta and you're scrounging for leftovers, he can work there. I think he's better. I don't think he really fits in a comp. If you have a really well-developed Darth Sidious, I think he's better for plug and play. He does have a leadership that applies to everyone, 50% crit chance and 30% crit damage. He's got extra benefits for Sith, that's 2% offense. But I mean, so it's kind of like the old Boba Fett. Like you just throw all the attackers behind Boba Fett. You can do that here. He's also one of the few characters that has healing immunity on his basic. And so that's also very helpful. If you're if you're getting down to the nitty gritty, you can't get Malak down. You could always try Darth Sidious, get Malak down below 50% health and finish him off with Savage. He is just I'm trying to be optimistic. He's not a good character. He's just,
unfortunately.
A lot of us vets have him, because he used to be so good.
I really want to level up Sidious all the time, but there's no point,
Yeah, mine's G12, just because I have nothing else better to do, I guess.
So yeah, try to be optimistic for you there, but it just, I don't know. He's decent. Like if you have Wampa, you guys just asked questions about Wampa. Like if it's get down to it, and you need some leadership for Nestor Wampa, he's okay. He's gonna die. Kira's gonna die. Whatever the leader is, gonna die anyway. He's okay for that sort of thing, just for a empty leadership. Let's see. Jason Krulik asks, what relic level do we need Shock T and company to beat the mission to get cam shards?
7.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, you're going to need R7 on pretty much every character that you put in there. Seriously, that's what that but territory battles is specifically built for.
Yeah, 16 mods, Relic 7.
Yeah, God mods,
I mean, you will get destroyed.
I wasn't able to beat it, and I don't have any relics on my Shock T, but I think all the clones except Rex R7. Rex didn't have any. I have put 3 relic levels on Rex just now this past weekend. So Yeah, I think you might be able to get by with like a Relic 5 or 6 Echo or an Arc if you have just godly offensive mods. You might be able to get those offenses because I don't know. We don't know yet. We'll know better. Let some people play it a little more. People will start putting out the spreadsheets and advice and videos that really break down the thresholds you need to beat to beat it consistently. I haven't been able to beat it yet. I'm 0 for 2, I guess now. So 0 for 3. I think we got 2 shots at it last time. So not very good going.
I think I got it once. The other one didn't. And then my better accounts were actually the guild. We did Hoth instead of light side territory battles because we wanted more of the get one is what we wanted for gas. So we went with Hoth. But the other guilds that I'm in, we went with Geo. So I got to at least try that out.
Oh, Alpha Mole Eliza makes a good point here. Sidious with the new Sith Trooper. He dies and then the Sith Trooper destroys. Possibly. There you go. That's a good idea.
Oh, Sith.
So that's still pretty sad. You're bringing a weak character to die. So the character.
He has been renamed Sith Lobster.
Sith Lobster. Okay.
Sith Lobster. Yes.
The sacrificial Sith. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That was a good idea, man. Good call. Yeah. I'll have Sith Trooper one day.
God.
Yeah.
Drucifer912 asks, if I subscribe to the Shattered Order theory of needing 5 characters to the new Rey and Kylo, which 5 Resistance and First Order do you recommend I relic? That's what we were talking about earlier on the stream. That's a podcast from... Yeah.
I would wait because we have no idea.
We just
I'd
have
hoard
no.
everything.
There's just no way.
I would hoard all your resources. I mean, listen, you want to be able to be able to move on a dime whenever we find out what's going to be necessary, and I think if you make that decision now, you could regret it. So it's probably best that you just hold off and wait till we know for sure. I mean, I know that's not a really pleasing answer because you're going to be kind of put in a crunch there, but the best thing you could do is just kind of go to SWGOH.gg and look at the requirements for the characters that you think are going to be the ones that you're going to need the most likely, and then just kind of hoard that gear and just look through all the levels, and so that when the time comes, if you let's say you have to gear up that character, you could just equip and move up the chain real quickly. But I think that there's no way that they're not going to add some sort of a curveball here with a new character that you're going to have to buy. So be prepared for that. So ultimately, your farming process should also be saving some crystals if you're doing that, or if you're not going to get anywhere near the amount of crystals that are necessary, then I would continue to hoard stuff, but also, just bear in mind that you may not get the character the first time around if you're not looking to spend money, because I think that there's going to be a paywall there for sure. I mean, they're going to want to cash in on Kylo and Rey. This is the last saga film, and they're going to want to make sure that they make some money off of it, because, I mean, bear in mind that they have to look at things, kind of planning for the future. And if you think about the big character releases that they're going to, release over time, we had, CLS a few years back. They eventually released, Nihilus and Traya and the Sith Triumvirate, and then they released they released Gas, and then they've also released all the versions of Revan now and Malak. So if you look towards the future now, at this point, there's Jedi Luke, there's Rey, there's Kylo, there's maybe another version of Palpatine, right? But I mean, if you think about the big characters, there's, like I said, Jedi Luke, Rey, Kylo, and then there's
Sith Technician,
right? So I mean, really, if you think about it, other than, of course, Ranger's favorite, the Eternal Twins, or something from the
they're not coming in. Yeah, they're not.
Something from the old Republic, or something from the old, the expanded universe. There's really not many other characters. Maybe like we said, Endor Leia, Endor Han. But they're getting to the point now where they're going to start pushing out like their end game stuff. So. They're gonna want to milk all these characters as much as possible. Let's just put it that way. Capital Games is also working on another game. So,
Yep.
All right, this one comes from Abner Dune. Which squad has priority for gear? Gas clones, Shock T clones, or Padme Galactic Republic? All game modes considered.
If you don't have gas, then you already know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Shakti, Padme, General Kenobi, Ahsoka. I mean, those teams are priority if you don't have gas. If you have gas, then if your Padme team's solid and then you already have some relic characters, then go to clones. Get that team set up. But if you don't have gas, then you got to get that team ready. You have to prioritize. You don't have to. If you want to work with clones, you can. It's your account. But if you're looking to keep up with what you're trying to work on to the next stage, then you gotta do Shakti. You gotta do.
That's a tough one because those three teams are so interchangeable.
Yeah.
They are, but I mean, I'm just thinking it from a gas perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
If you don't have gas, yeah, Padme and I would do Padme, GK, Anakin, Shock T, and I guess Ahsoka.
Yeah, you need 3.
I would do those first, and then secondary, I would do the Shock T clones, and at least that would prep you for gas.
Well, yeah,
when gas came about.
Yeah, and that's a good way of doing it too. If you already got those characters ready for the event, and then you're looking to get secondary to use, yeah, Shock T and the clones is a great team to use. Especially
Yeah, he said he unlocked gas with the gear. Yeah, if you're going to spend the next 2-3 months farming Kybertech, man, I would just go ahead. So you already have your Galactic Republic started. I'd go ahead and get Kenobi and Kenobi and Anakin R7 definitely. That's for no other reason than the ships. The Anakin's a boss, but maybe get those 2 to 7, and then kind of get your Shock T to gear 13. Maybe get your Ahsoka to gear 13, and just kind of leave them, and then start on your clones. I would start with the 50 first, Rex 5s, and the Echo.
What are the must-haves for getting gas? You think to Relic 7? Or getting gas unlocked. What are the must-have Relic 7 characters to get gas to?
Kenobi.
That's it?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Kenobi is the one that you really need to have at R7. The rest of them don't need to be that high up, but they need to be not necessarily R7, though.
Not R7, but she's got
not R7. She needs to be relicked. She needs to be relicked, but not at R7.
Yeah, you can get away with the other 3 being good.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't like Ahsoka. I don't like it. And Abner and Paparazzi both are talking Shock T and 50 first in the Sith raid. That's absolutely true. So that's a very tough question. It's a big one. They're all so good.
How dare you say you don't like Ahsoka? You need to watch the cartoons. Okay? That's Anakin's Padawan. All right,
I'm talking about in the game.
Have some damn respect. All right, for Ahsoka Tano.
B1 doesn't need to be relics. I did it without B1's relic.
Yeah, I did do it with B1 relic. I did mine without I was getting ready to do it when I finally got the RNG in my favor. But B1 made a huge difference in my attempts because I had gotten close a couple times. In that last one, I was like, oh, thank God I don't have the relic Asajj. So, but
yeah, you don't need Kenobi at R7. You're right, Paparazzi. You don't need any of them at R7.
Yeah.
But this in general, that's a tough one, Abner. I'll think of that one a little more. We got a couple more questions coming here. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, let's be real. I mean, you can get RNG with Gear 12 characters and get it, but I mean, if you don't want to do 1,000 battles to get the character, you want to get prepared as much as possible, so you have an easier time to do it. Then I would say Kenobi at Relic 7 is probably a must.
At least Relic, just go Relic 5. You'll be fine at Relic 5.
Yeah.
3 or higher for Kenobi.
Even at R7, Kenobi went down like a.
Yeah, they just hit so hard.
They hit so hard. He goes really, really fast. Between from even at R5 or even at R7, they just womp on him and he's down.
You still need good mods too.
Oh yeah. You need 60 mods.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff on. So.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple more here. Ray Rock asked a good one that we can kind of end on, but Monado Namikaze said, "Didn't Warrior say that his CG dev is in TI? Why don't we just work on the first order resistance suit that he is working on?" I don't. I think it's I know that a .gg developer is in TI. He was on what is the guys that got the carry interview? It slips my mind. I listen to him all the time.
Standard Order.
No, Galactic War Report.
They
They actually interviewed him on one of their podcast maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, and he is at the time he was in Team Instinct and he did work on the website. And CG Dev, I don't think so.
If you want to know, if you want to know who's in the most know as far as like who's getting the most knowledge as far as like a content creator from the devs, it's the Galactic War Report guys. So if you want to go look at their roster and see what they're working on, that's probably the way to go.
Yeah. There could be one in there, I don't know, but I do know there was at one point a .gg dev in there. So
I know that there are I don't know if there still are, but I know that there was at least 2, possibly 3 devs.
The Galactic War Report guys are the only ones that still get interviews with the devs. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I would go check that out. But honestly, it's no matter what you do, you're kind of risking. This was so much simpler back in the day because we had so many clues as to what to work on. Nowadays, they don't do that at all anymore. So they're very much super secretive about what they want to do, and then they just drop it right in your face. So it's to make that move, you could take some steps backwards. So just be prepared for that.
Yep.
Oh, we got one more here. This is kind of a good one to end it on. I feel like he might have asked this on Jedi Academy the other day as well. Ray Rock asked, what is the panel's #1 quality of life wish from CG in 2020? Mine is get rid of mod cap. That ain't happening.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't say necessarily get rid of mod cap, but oh my god, they we have so many tunes in the game, and you just need to have a good supply of mods, and they need to increase the mod cap is what they need to do.
Well, they pretty directly came out in one of the Q&As and said, no, that will never happen. So, I mean,
the mod cap is what, 500?
Yeah.
500, and we have over 200 characters now?
181.
Getting close. Yeah.
181 characters, yeah.
So,
compared to what we used to have, say even a couple of years ago in terms of characters, it has exponentially increased, and so has the demand for mods. And so you need various types of mods these days to be able to switch back and forth between characters. And there just isn't, the mod cap just is old now, as far as I'm concerned. If anything, I don't know, it's just some way to be able to manage them even better than what we have now. It's just...
The chat's blow me up. Paparazzi said they also said sandbox mode never happened. Rooster says they also said no more get one store tunes. Okay, in my face, yes. So it's a possibility. What they could do...
Well, they said they're never using get one again. Well,
what they could do is, like, if you farm mods and they go into your mailbox, you have 3 days to get them out. Maybe make that 30 days. Like, if you buy a mod from the store and your inventory is full, it will sit there for 30 days. Like, maybe if you farm them, let them sit in your mailbox for 30 days. So when you have, 18 hours to sit there and delete a bunch of mods, you can, kind of pull them out slowly over time. I don't know.
Do you ever have mods that you just look at and you're like, that sucks, and you just let the time expire because you don't even want to worry, you don't even want to deal with it?
No.
I
love
everything. I just do what I just click on them. I can't stand having them sitting in my mailbox. It drives me crazy.
There's certain mods I look at and be like, that's just a waste of time. And I just
like if it's like a crit damage set triangle defense primary, you're like, nah, I get that out of here. We don't need that.
Yeah.
I'll let it expire. You know what I'm saying? I'll just leave it in there. But
in the chat, they're saying about the get one. Yeah, they did actually say that they were not going to get one. And then they actually pulled the damn post. That's how shicey
That's how shicey they pulled the
Yeah, you guys are right. Yeah.
The reason I know they did is because we have an episode where we covered this on our Wednesday night stream because we covered, and I haven't found. I'm going to go back and find it, but it was like I really don't want to go back through and find it specifically. I know we talked about it, and it was, and I know there was a post, and I know that for the fact they removed it. So, so you can't find it anymore because they deleted the damn thing. So
yeah, I think I heard about that, or you mentioned it.
Yeah, it was really a bunch of bull. So, yeah.
Yeah, but something does need to be done with the mod cap, or the way that we distribute mods. Some way of doing it. Like I said, we've got so many more characters in the game that need so many more mods that you can store some of your mods on your lower level tunes, but that can only go so far. And you're stripping mods from those tunes, then you may or may not have something to replace it with, and then you end up I end up selling some really good mods because I just don't have the room.
My quality of life update would be to add a open like 10 Jesus Christ.
Bronziums.
To open like 10 Bronzium packs at once or 20 Bronzium packs at once.
I didn't have a good answer for this the other day, but I thought about it. I think what I'd like to see is if they make a dev announcement post on the forum, also put a link in the game. You don't even have to tell what it is. It's like new developer update, and just give us an inbox message. Because what's happening is all of us here that are watching the stream, that are on the stream, we're real savvy on what's going on. We read the forums, but the vast majority of all the players, they probably don't. They're not really active on the forums, so they're not getting the information. Like something happens in the game and it's a huge shock to them, whereas maybe those of us that utilize some of these other, social media outlets, the dev tracker and stuff, that we're a little more savvy. Just give everybody an equal playing field in terms of knowledge of what's going on. I guess give them an opportunity to see it.
Yep, my quality of life is to stop what they're doing, spend a month or two, fix all the goddamn bugs and issues with this game. Quit adding new stuff that doesn't work because you don't test it. Why don't you just take a pause, go in there, and fix all these stupid ass bugs and issues that you guys have? I would be fine with no content for 2 months.
Yeah, they broke Aura Singh for the Sith raid and haven't fixed it. The Kiamundi shards, they still haven't fixed that and given us our shards. There's just so much stuff that you don't have.
Take a break. Stop.
Yeah.
Being able to trade resources would be cool too, like being able to trade shards or trade gear and trade like relic pieces and things like that.
All right.
Also,
Abner agrees with you. Yeah.
Also,
it's true.
Also, you could do a.
If they're gonna do that though, y'all can't bitch that there's no new content. Like it's either or.
No, I would.
I'm not saying you in particular. I'm saying just everyone.
I would be satisfied with what we talked about the other week when we were saying that if they made Galactic War hard again, and you could still sim it. Like if they made it like so that the battles were more difficult, so you could actually go in there and like I would actually be doing that all stream long. I'd be doing Galactic War battles if it wasn't like literally just auto sauce the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you actually had to, remember the days of like throwing in suicide teams and things like that to get you through Galactic War.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. If they made it hard again. I can't believe that. I can't believe now, like years later, I'm wanting them to make Galactic War hard again, but I am. I would like them to do that. That could be a replacement for the sandbox mode.
All right.
But all right, is that the final question?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody coming out. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. We've been streaming for 2 hours, and the replay value on a 2-hour stream is not that great. But you know what? Nonetheless, we had a good time, and I think that's. I think it was really fun, especially getting into some of the topics that we got into a little bit earlier. I think that top 5 was a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will be back next week, same time, same place. Now, before we go, what's going on with Reality Skewed Gamers this week, Ranger?
Well, same old. We'll be back at it on PC Gaming Night, and we have the Wednesday night stream, and then we'll have Jedi Academy on Saturday. We had a great one this past Saturday. Was kind enough to join us on that one. TMoney slept through it because she was tired. But yeah, just our normal stuff. So come check it out. We cover a lot of Star Wars Galaxy Hero content on the stream. So, and then we play other games and have fun. So if you want to come check it out, you're more than welcome. You can go check out some of our past streams. So we are definitely a live streaming service site. So if you're looking for videos and stuff, not the best place. We do have some videos, but we're all about live streaming, hanging out with fans, interacting, and having a good time.
Longest running live show in the game. And then we have Operation Metaverse with good old Maurice and TMoney. What's going on with you guys this week?
We have actually moved. I think it's going to be permanently to Thursday night, same time, 10 o'clock. So, we both have made some life changes, TMoney and I recently, so our schedule has changed a little bit.
You guys are getting married now?
No. She's become a teacher now.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a teacher now, so her schedule is much different than it was before. So we're doing it Thursday nights at 10 p.m.
I thought the TMoney might have finally. I thought that she might have finally proposed to you.
No.
Okay.
No. Still waiting the day.
Okay.
But yeah.
Right.
Yep. Thursday night, 10 o'clock, guys.
Yeah, there's definitely go check out their stream on Thursday nights. Is it still 8:30, or are you guys doing it later now?
So what?
You guys still doing them at 8:30, or is it at 10 o'clock now?
10 o'clock. 10
o'clock. Okay. And Avi, what's going on with the Boba's Alliance podcast and your channel?
Got a podcast coming up this next weekend. God, I forget what day it is. This is Sunday. Okay, this next weekend, yes. So we'll be recording that. And then we've got some ideas of running around and doing podcasts with other podcast people. So
good idea.
We're looking forward to doing that too.
Cool. Well, definitely check out all of these lovely people's channels. Their links are in the description of this video. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications when they go live or drop content. Like I said, we'll be back here on Sunday next week with another Alliance live show. I would like to get together with, Ranger, or Maurice or Avi or all of them at some point during the week to do like a spoiler show where we just do like a live stream and kind of talk about the Mandalorian and the Rise of Skywalker and get everybody's feedback. So if I can get that together during the week one night this week, people have been asking me to do it. I definitely will. But I'll get with them during the week and see if we can make that happen. Otherwise, definitely make sure to check out, the Reality Skewed Gamers live show on Wednesday night and their lunch streams. Also, the Jedi Academy stream on Saturday. Then also make sure to check out the Operation Metaverse stream on Thursday night. And then stay tuned for Avi's podcast later this week. But I appreciate everybody coming out this week. It was a fun Sunday. Happy New Year to everybody. And I wish everybody well. We'll see you guys on the next one. And may the Force be with everybody. Have a good night.